Hi guys, welcome to your Friday video. We've been talking a little bit in one of the smaller groups about past lives, and because we are a crystal healing group, I decided that maybe we should talk about some of the less rare, easier to find crystals that could help you access past lives and deal with the information that you get there. Not surprisingly, there are several quartzes among that group. There is also one of my favorites, which is, you can see it glowing, so it must be selenite. There we go. I'm sure that we all have this around because I harp on this constantly. The one warning with selenite is it can soften bone. So if you have young ones around or you have osteoporosis, you want to keep it in your environment but up, sort of out of the way, and not handle it a lot. So that's one of those things. But it can help you with your past lives and dealing with those stresses. The next big one is, of course, phantom quartz. Phantom quartz, let me see if I can, if you look at a phantom quartz, you can see sort of the layers of the original point and then how things grew up around them. My happy little camera isn't showing it really well, but you can actually see the original point and then that layer of carbonite or carbon, and then the outline of crystal, and then more of that, and it just layers. Sometimes you'll get a dark crystal inside of a lighter crystal, or vice versa. But yeah, that's layers. So it can help you get through that to get to your past life. Also, there is dendritic quartz, which I do not have an example of, but it's basically quartz that looks like dendritic agate, in that there are certain kinds of evergreen bushes. Cedar kind of has the look. It looks like these little segmented branches, twigs of this evergreen. And you can find it under dendritic or dendritic quartz. But yeah, it definitely looks like there's plant in there. There is not. That's an inclusion, and it can vary on what it is. You can sometimes figure it out by the color. But yeah, I don't have an example of that. Bad witch, I don't know. There is also etched quartz, which can be enhanced if it's because there's also celestial quartz. But I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Maybe. There are all these little lines and symbols sort of etched into the quartz because of just, it's also a key quartz obs. Because of growth interference, because of acid washing, growth interference. There are all kinds of reasons this etching happens. I don't think it was the aliens. But yeah, those are said you're supposed to be able to rub those or get your get your thumbnail into a groove and rub them in a meditative state and access information from the past. And maybe you can. I have not had much luck accessing any kind of records that way. But it's also not really my gift. So you may have better luck. Now, a true celestial is gonna have, it's gonna be a little different. And I will try to get this up here. Do you see all those little points up there? Right up here? That is celestial, and it's kind of all these little babies that have grown up together around another point. This is actually a fairly pretty celestial. Some of them can be very not aesthetically pleasing. However, they might rock your world if you actually worked with them. They can help you with past lives. They can also help you with communication with the Debbie we know as angels. Definitely higher communication. You will find with a lot of celestials, they also have, because I'm looking at this, I don't know if you can see it, but there's more etching there. It also has places that feel very soft, not like squishy. I mean, it's quartz, it's really hard, but it almost feels fuzzy and soft. They can be very comforting to hold in your hand. They warm up really quick, but then quartz is always a really good, what is the word I am looking for? Obviously I have not copied enough. It transfers heat really well. In fact, it's better than a wet rag to put on a fevered forehead to draw that heat out. Conductor. That is the word. Now, hopefully that'll be the crazy ass thumbnail. And I'll look like a loon, because we love when that happens, right? So, those are going to be the easiest for you to find, I think. Aside from petrified wood, which is also good, and you follow the rings in. The bigger the piece that you get, they say, the more rings, the deeper you can go. I don't know. I mean, but that's what they say. But I think most of us have some petrified wood around. If not, it's super easy to find, and we do have tons of rock shows coming up all over Pennsylvania and Ohio and Indiana, the end of February, the beginning of all through March, actually. That's when all the rock hounds do their shows. There's another quartz. I think it's going to be harder to find. I don't have any of it, I don't think. Though I do have a chunk of nephrite, jade. Nephrite's a form of jade. Quartz in nephrite. Not the other way around. But if you have a piece of quartz or a piece of nephrite and you can see where the quartz kind of grew in, interfered, there's that line of quartz like you sometimes see in flint or agates. That can happen in nephrite jade too, and if you can find a piece of that, you can use it as well. There are a few other stones. Dioptase, it's expensive and can be really brittle depending on the form that you get. There is also cerussite. Looking at my list. Oh, it's almost time for new glasses. Cerussite? I don't know. Kernite? Again, I don't know. And eosporite. I am guessing At the Columbus Rock Show, there are a couple of dealers that have the giant tables with the tiny little specimens in plastic. But wait, I believe I have one of these handy. This is a larger one, but I know that you've seen, if you've been to the Columbus thing, you have seen the tables that are just full of these, right down to tiny ones. They will probably have some of those other stones that I don't know what the heck they are, because I don't know everything. Nobody does. But the quartz should be easier to get. The selenite, I'm sure that we all have in our box. I would guess most of us have petrified wood. I am gonna bet that you have at least one of the 3 quartz already in your quartz stash. At least one of the 3, and likely multiples, because I was all like, what do I have? And I'm like, oh, this, and this. Yay. Yeah. So you can also look up online any of those to see the pictures, so that when you're out shopping, you can spot them more easily. Yeah. So those are the stones that can help you with your past life. You would cleanse. If you're gonna use this specifically dedicated to this one thing, I would go ahead, cleanse it, clear it, and program it. Now, programming crystals, you would meditate with it. When I'm programming, I tend to put it over my heart, so that energy is coming in from my heart for the highest good. And I focus my energy and intent into the crystal for that specific job. And then I would meditate with it when I wanted to do past life work. If I wanted dreams about past life, it would probably go in my pillowcase, on the bottom side of the pillow, because quartz is hard. But yeah, that's how I've worked with programmed crystals. You may have a different method. If you do, please share that. We haven't really talked about programming crystals to do specific things because, well, I haven't. But if you want to know more about that, hit me up. I mean, we do videos. There can be bonus videos. There can be articles written by anybody here who has a method that they want to share, that we can discuss and see what works for everybody. But let me know, and I will get that put together and arranged. And if you aren't interested, that's cool too, because your path is yours. And you may have a completely different way to work with the crystals in a past life way, in which case we're very interested to hear that too. So please share. But this has been your Friday video, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm looking at the weather, and it's snowing, so also stay warm, drive safe. If you have any healing needs coming up or whatever, please let me know, so that I can do some extra work for you on the well. That's part of what you're paying for. So please let me know if you need extra. I think in February we have a crystal, towards the end of February we have a crystal skull meetup. which is an open meetup. It won't just be Crystal Healing Well or Amok people. I'm actually going to start pumping that at the beginning of February and sharing it out for anybody who's interested to come. And that will be held in a public space that's yet to be announced, and honestly won't be announced until I start getting kind of RSVPs. So now you know what's going on with that. You have some ideas about crystals to help you work with your past lives. If you have questions about past life work, hit us up in the group or in the comments below this video, and I will be checking that today, and we can have a conversation if you're interested in that. All right, you guys, I will see you later. Be safe, be warm, have a blessed weekend.